Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Fake Chats. I'm your host, Andrew Burnett, and today I have with me my great friend, Pastor Jackson Lahmeyer. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. Having a blast. Thanks for having me on and love all that you're doing. I think today we'll have a good time.
So I'm excited. I seen on your Facebook post yesterday you got surprised with the little puppy. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was an answer to prayer for about, I don't know, 10 years. I've been kind of hounding my wife about getting a dog, and she's consistently said no. And so, I'd always joke around during sermons and just things like that with the church about, pray one day that God will open my wife's heart up to getting me a dog. And sure enough, God answered prayer and brought the little dog on stage yesterday. And so the church got to celebrate because they'd been interceding, for me on getting a dog. And so exciting. I'm a big dog guy and finally got one.
So many may or may not know that you are the founder of Pastors for Trump. Tell us what really inspired you to do such a thing.
Yeah, well, Pastors for Trump was a coalition of pastors in all 50 states. We had over 10,000 pastors actually during the 2024 campaign to mobilize the largest voting bloc in America, which is the evangelical voting bloc. And that really was birthed out of when President Trump announced that he was going to run again for president of the United States. There was kind of a silence among faith leaders this time. They were a little hesitant about getting on board with President Trump, and the news media was just eating that alive, saying, evangelicals have abandoned Donald Trump. And so we launched this, and sure enough, evangelicals did not abandon President Trump. They turned out in mass in 24 to put him back in the White House.
That's awesome. So, thank goodness President Trump has reached a deal for the government shutdown to finally open back up after 41 long days. Share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it should have never have happened in the first place. But Democrats are really, really good at political theater. And I think the government shutdown primarily had to do with the elections that were in New York City, Virginia, and New Jersey. And I think they used the government shutdown as a means to mobilize not only their own base, but those who might have been on the fence in those areas. And so I think a lot of Americans unnecessarily went through hardship that they wasn't necessary to go through in order for Democrats to have the political theater that they needed in order to secure some victories in those elections. It's sad, Democrats care more about illegal citizens than they do American citizens, and it's mind blowing. But thankfully, those elections are now over with. And so Democrats came to the table, and it seems like we have a deal.
And the sad thing is, the Democrats are the main issue, but mainstream media wants to blame Trump for all this.
Well, when in doubt, blame Trump. That's kind of the easy move. Uh, if there's a natural disaster in Cambodia, blame Donald Trump. If a Islamic terrorist kills a Christian, blame Trump. It doesn't matter what it is. I always joke around and say, if President Trump cured cancer, the media would run a headline story thanks to Donald Trump, now cancer doctors are out of business, and so that would be the headline because that's just everything. They call it TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, and I think it's a real thing. I know we joke about it and we laugh about it, but I really actually think TDS is a actual mental health issue that so many on the left suffer with. And President Trump, he's doing a great job, never gets the credit that he deserves. But thankfully, there's shows like yours that do spotlight. This man's doing a great, great job as president of the United States, regardless of what CNN, MSNBC has to say.
You host a lot of different political guests at your church. Do you have any major ones coming up?
Yeah, so we've been very fortunate, to have Donald Trump Jr., Eric and Lara Trump, Cash Patel, General Michael Flynn, Mayor Rudy Giuliani, Rogers. I mean, we've had, a whole bunch of them, but also a lot of great athletes. Tim Tebow, Daryl Strawberry, and so forth. And so our next big event is coming up this month, actually. Sunday, November the 23rd, is our church's 74th anniversary service. And Daryl Strawberry, the great baseball player who just received a full pardon from President Trump, is going to be at our church preaching. He's got a tremendous, tremendous story. And come 2026, we'll be announcing some other speakers that we have coming, and many of them are political in nature. And so, yeah, our church, we are not shy from a little controversy and jumping into the political spectrum, because I think that's what we're supposed to do.
Have you got to host one of my favorite people yet, Riley Gaines?
We have. We had Riley at our church about a year ago, and she is just incredible. Her and I did a sit down conversation, and you talk about a warrior. She really, really is.
I hope to have her on the show sometime, man. I tell you what, I've been following her for years, man.
Yeah, she's incredible.
She's got outstanding faith and just an amazing person. And really taking a stand for the transgenders not being in female sports, which is
Yeah.
huge.
I think she's the leading voice in that based on her own experience, of going up against a 6'1" biological male who was near to last in men's college swimming, but then immediately jumped to number one in women's college swimming. And that's just biological differences. When you're 6'1" with longer limbs, you're going to have an advantage over women that are 5'4", 5'5", 5'6". And so Riley Gaines has been someone who has faced a lot of heat for stating the obvious. Men and women are different, and men should not compete against women in sports. And although those simple truths we used to take for granted, when you take a stand on those, you come under severe persecution. And Riley has. Riley has been attacked from every angle, but she's withstood it, and she's a great person. She really is.
So you've authored a book and you teach at Victory College. Share with us, what message do you hope to impart to aspiring leaders through your writing and teaching?
Yeah, thank you. This is my new book, latest book, Chasing After the Wind: Why Nobody is Catching What Everybody is Chasing. And Daryl Strawberry actually wrote the forward to this. And this book is all about the one thing that every single one of us, whether we're black, white, whether we're rich, poor, whether we're old or young, we're all chasing the exact same thing because we're all wired and we're all designed to chase this thing, and it's called happiness. We all want to be happy. That's the way we're designed. Unfortunately, happiness is like the wind, it's elusive. You chase it and you never actually catch it. And we always say, if I just had this, well, then I would be happy. And you get whatever that is, and you come to find out you're happy for a moment, but then the happiness is gone, and you got to chase something else. If I just had this, I'd be happy. You get it 5 years later, you sell it for 50 cents at a garage sale because it didn't make you truly happy. And so the world says money, fame, sex, whatever it is, these things will make you happy. And it is true. Those things will make you happy in the moment, but that moment passes and then you have to chase it again. And so we spend our entire lives chasing the wind, and nobody seems to catch it. Nobody's truly happy. We're chasing the high of happiness. And so this book is all about, how can you not spend your entire life chasing something that nobody is catching? How can you actually catch the wind, have true joy, happiness, peace, and contentment in your life? And there are some keys to that. And that's what this book is all about. In the presence of God, the Bible tells us, there's the fullness of joy. And the joy of the Lord is our strength. So if you're going to have strength to withstand everything the world throws at you, and you know this, our world is crazy right now. It's crazy. You better have strength. But where does your strength come from? You have to have the joy of the Lord. And the joy of the Lord is found in the presence of God. And so I get very practical in the book of how to catch the wind. And I would encourage people to get it. We've just had tremendous reviews. And Daryl Strawberry's forward is his life story, the pardon that President Trump just gave him. He talks about his life story, how Daryl, as a baseball player, He was chasing happiness through women, through drugs, through alcohol, through success. And all of those things led him to a state of disaster, being suspended by the major leagues, finding himself in prison, $3 million in debt, no driver's license. His life was a wreck because he was chasing happiness through all the wrong measures. But then he met Jesus and everything changed. So Chasing After the Wind, it's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, Target, all the different places, but also my website, jacksonlawmeyer.com. And if you go to jacksonlawmeyer.com, you get a signed copy and the free ebook for the exact same price as all the other places. So it's a much better deal.
So, did you have a specific audience in mind when writing this book?
Yeah, the audience is anyone with a pulse because everybody is chasing this. Why do we do what we do? Why do I eat Oreos late at night? Is it because Oreos are good for me? Not at all. It's because Oreos make me feel good. They make me happy. Sometimes we will make bad decisions in pursuing happiness. We'll do unholy things trying to be happy. Nobody takes drugs because they don't think it's going to not make them happy. It's the promise of happiness is why you take drugs or why you become an alcoholic. Nobody becomes a porn addict in the hopes of, I hope this doesn't make me happy. No, that's why you do these things. And so the book is designed for literally anybody with a pulse because everyone who has the breath of life in them right now, they're chasing happiness. But we chase it through different measures and means. And unfortunately, none of them satisfy except one. There's only one real way, path to be truly happy and content and have peace in your life. And Coach Lou Holtz, I'm a big sports fan. Coach Holtz said, if you want to be happy for an hour, go eat a steak. If you want to be happy for a day, go play around the golf. If you want to be happy for a week, go on a cruise. But if you want to be happy for a lifetime, you got to get to know Jesus because he's the happiest being there is.
Your camera just went off.
Give me 2 seconds. I have no idea why. Something to do with Zoom, probably.
Anyway, what's one practical point you could share with our audience that would benefit their walk with Christ to chase happiness?
Yeah. So, one of the things that all of us struggle with is whenever somebody wrongs us, whenever somebody hurts us, we have a hard time forgiving and letting it go. The problem is unforgiveness and bitterness do not bring happiness in your life. It actually brings the opposite. Unforgiveness makes you miserable. And so, learning how to forgive, how to be like God, God is the happiest being in the universe. God is the most forgiving being in the universe. And so, learning how to forgive, we all know we're supposed to forgive. You can preach sermons all day long forgive, forgive, forgive. Question is, how do you actually forgive? And so, in this book, I walk through how one truly forgives. I call them the 3 C's of forgiveness. You begin by catching your thoughts because that's where the battle is. Then you must change your words. Then you must cultivate your actions. It's the 3 C's to forgiveness. If you truly want to forgive somebody, we catch our thoughts, we change our words, we cultivate our actions. And so I go very practical into that. How do you forgive somebody? Because when you forgive somebody, you are releasing a state of bitterness and misery so you can be happy. But as long as you're holding on to unforgiveness, you'll never be happy. It is impossible to have joy and happiness while simultaneously holding on to unforgiveness and bitterness. So that's one practical thing. We also get into anxiety and depression. How do you walk and overcome those things in life? And so, yeah, man, I have what's in the book called The Ultimate Practical Guide to Happiness. Not just a practical guide to happiness, the ultimate practical guide to happiness. And so, it's a journey that I've learned through my own life and obviously the study of scripture.
So, what really inspired you to write such a book?
I think my own journey of always chasing the wind, thinking to myself as a pastor, in terms, if I just had 100 more members at the church, I'd be happy. And then, I'd get 100 more members, and all of a sudden their problems became my problems. And I thought that which would make me happy actually caused more problems in my life. I used to think if I just had a bigger building, if we just had a bigger building for the ministry, then I'd be happy. Well, we got a bigger building, and all of a sudden, guess what? Our expenses are up from our utilities, maintenance, everything else. And so, my own journey of never truly being content, never truly being happy, thinking this would, I get it, and then it didn't make me happy. And so, coming to that realization, self reflection, and then the truths of Scripture. And so, really, this book was not developed in a library. This book was developed in my own real life. And that's why I think people have given such good reviews to it, because they can relate to it, because we've all been chasing happiness.
So you are a podcaster as well, and you have one called Unfiltered with Jackson Lahmeyer. Share with us some impactful conversations that you've had.
Yeah, one of the things for me that is important is Christians get a bad rap of being fake. We fake it till we make it. We come to church on Sunday morning, and someone says, "How are you doing?" We say, "I'm too blessed to be stressed." All the while, our bank account is bleeding, our hearts are ready to give up, our marriage is falling apart, and so we fake it. And I think it's so important to be real, to be honest, to be vulnerable. And, I've been very blessed to have some great guests on, one of them being President Donald Trump, but others, from worship leaders like Sean Foyt to political leaders like Roger Stone, you name it. It's been very, very fun to do. And realizing everybody has struggles, everyone has challenges, everyone has setbacks, but those things do not break us, those things make us. And so when you recognize that every problem you walk through is actually an opportunity for growth. And so I've learned from interviewing so many great people that whenever a challenge or problem pops up in your life, your response should not be, "Oh no, I have another problem." Your response should be, "Good, I have another problem." Because the problem is going to propel you into your destiny. And so when you meet and interview all these different people, you come to the realization it's the same thing. They've all experienced great obstacles and problems and hindrances, but all of those things propelled them into doing the great things that they're doing. And so that's been a big deal, is realizing my problem is truly an opportunity that God gives me in life.
So if you could pick one conversation from a podcast guest that you had that's been pretty memorable, which one would you say?
I would say President Trump. Obviously, that's that's kind of a big one, right? That's a big one. I would say the president.
What made it memorable for you?
Well, we had about 100,000 people on live while we were doing it, so that was quite a large audience on a live stream. And obviously, getting to just talk to the president and ask questions, and have him freely answer was really cool. Just to have the opportunity to sit down and interview the president like that, I thought was just, it's a great opportunity. And so that would be the most memorable for sure.
Do you have any exciting upcoming guests?
We're working on our 2026 schedule right now. Obviously, we have like Daryl Strawberry because he's coming in, and we're kind of reformatting the podcast from a live stream to more of a sit down conversation where it's in the same room together, making it a little more personable and things like that. So we're kind of just experimenting, just playing around. I mean, you know how it is. You do a podcast, you try things and you're like, "Oh, that was really smart," and you go with it, or you try things and you're like, "That was really dumb. We'll never do that again." So we're kind of restructuring come 2026.
So for you, what's one of the biggest challenges that you faced as a podcaster?
I think consistency. The key to success in doing a podcast or anything like that is being consistent. And so for me, just a a busy schedule. I have a lot of things. Travel gets in the way. It's hard to do a podcast when you're traveling a lot. And so just being consistent, but I think that's the same with everything in life. Anything you want to succeed, you have to start and you have to see it through. You have to start, you have to see it through. Too many of us, we want to just start and not see it through. And so the biggest challenge by far has been just being consistent in regards to committing to doing the podcast. That's been the biggest challenge because it's easy to find an excuse why not. I'm traveling, I'm speaking at this event, I've got practice with my kids, I got to pastor my church. I probably should take my wife out to be a decent husband. And so you have all these things, but you still have to find the time and be committed to doing it.
So, where can listeners and viewers find your podcast?
They can go to my website, jacksonlawmeyer.com, and all of our links are on there to my YouTube channel, my Rumble channel, Facebook, Instagram, X, all the different places where we live stream and put these products out and these shows. So, yeah, the easiest place to the catch all is jacksonlawmeyer.com.
Well, Pastor Jackson, thank you so much for your time. I have enjoyed this conversation with you. God bless you for what you do, and I hope that we can talk again soon.
Absolutely, man. Keep crushing it. I love all that you're doing.
All right. Be blessed.